Boston is better today. I think we would both agree. But now Kelly Olynyk's going to have to go. He's been a valuable big. They don't have much size. And there's probably either a Jay Crowder or an Avery Bradley. Nice players, not Gordon Hayward leave. Could I not argue the NBA GMs, points in, points out, it's not a wash, but it's not a huge upgrade?
No, it's a good move, in my opinion. It gets them closer to Cleveland, but they're not going to challenge Cleveland, slightly more than they did last year. But he's a piece. And Jason Tatum, let's see what he becomes. Jason Tatum may become a younger version of a Paul George.
In 3 years.
Well, you see young players here and there come into the league. Kevin Durant, and I'm not saying he's Kevin Durant, but he came in averaging 20. It's hard to come in right away and be a leader, but there are players that come in right away and put up numbers. And Jason Tatum, maybe he's one of those guys that comes in right away and puts up numbers, and that's all they need. They don't need him to be the leader. So, look, again, they're not much more of a threat than they ever were to Cleveland, but I do think they're better. And the thing I like about this deal is that you're very good in the present. Second best team in the East, we suppose. And you're set up to be great in the future. So, look, I'm not mad at Danny Ainge for what he's done.
Don't you think, though, I'm not a dip into the 401k guy, but Porzingis is out there. He solves two problems, your lack of size, and he adds another 3. So you got Gordon Hayward, and you don't have to do much other than get rid of Kelly Olynyk and maybe Jay Crowder. Or is it perhaps that I'd get back into the Porzingis sweepstakes? Do you think there's any chance of that?
It doesn't seem that Danny's thinking that way, but you never know with him either. I agree with you. They have the assets. Look, Porzingis is tremendous. I think he's tremendous.
7'2", 7'3", hits a 3.
Yep.
And he's kind of today's 7-footer. He's not overly physical, but it doesn't matter. He can stretch the floor. He runs the floor. I just think this Gordon Hayward thing is great. But now you've got Gordon. Now you got the draft picks. Or maybe is Danny Ainge just a super conservative guy?
Historically, he hasn't. I don't think he's always been so conservative. I mean, remember when he first got to Boston, I thought he didn't know what he was doing because he says we're going young and gets rid of Antoine Walker, and then later he brings him back. Did he not bring him back? Or he did something where they changed directions right away. Like Danny, I thought he struggled early on, and then he kind of found his footing and obviously brought the big 3 there. But what I would do if I'm Danny Ainge is I let the season start as it is. And I want to see what Jason Tatum is. And I want to see what Porzingis does. Because even though he's shown the potential of a superstar, he's been kind of inconsistent. He's waned at the end of the season. I want to see now with Phil Jackson gone. Now you're not running the triangle. Now it's your team. Whether Melo's there or not, it's your team. Let's see how he starts. And then if I really like what I see from him and Tatum isn't blowing me away like he could be another superstar, then I try to make a move for Porzingis.
So, listen, in any economy, good or bad economy, and it depends on where you live and what you're doing, how good our economy is today, you see these contracts, and a lot of Americans are like, this is outrageous, and I totally get it, right? But I try not to begrudge anybody for making what they make. But you do look at the Otto Porter contract. And I'm thinking to myself, there's a sense that Washington's going to match it. But then I'm stuck with John Wall, Bradley Beal, who I think on the open market could get you a lot in return. Otto Porter's not getting you much on the open market. So I'm paying for a guy, whether I have him, he's not worth the money, or on the open market, he's not worth the money. If you're Washington, would you sign him? $100+ million for a guy that 2 years ago people thought was a bust.
I know. I like Otto Porter. I think he brought a lot to that team this year.
He had a good year.
But I cannot max him. I'm sorry.
Can't.
I would love to have him back at a reasonable price, but I cannot. Now I've got 3 max players if I bring him back, and I'm still 3rd, 4th, 5th in the East. I'm no better. I'm not winning the East with those 3 max players, and then I'm handcuffed.
Let me throw I said this to the guys this morning. I said, John Wall's 7 years in this league. I think on the open market, John would have suitors.
Oh, yeah.
A lot. And They're 20th in attendance, 23rd in TV rating. So John's not moving the needle. He's not Westbrook dynamic, where literally people from around the region are getting in a car to see Westbrook. Wall's just a really talented guy. Could I make the argument that maybe a year ago, maybe now, you start over in Washington? It ain't. I mean, listen, you're in quicksand in the NBA. You're the 12th best NBA team. There's no win there.
I would not start over. John Wall is still young. Yeah, he's in his 7th year, but remember, he came out after 1 year of college. So he's still very young. Bradley Beal's still very young. If I start over, who am I trying to get? Another John Wall. I mean, you know, and
but he can't shoot threes. Could I get two guys?
But I think he'll get better at that. Beal can shoot threes. This going to the bottom, it rarely works. Look at Orlando. How long they've been at the bottom? Phoenix has a really good player in Devin Booker. Marquise Chris, we'll see what he becomes. They got some good young players. They're not going to make the playoffs for the 8th straight time. I mean, going to the bottom is not, it's not that you're guaranteed to ever get back to even where Washington is right now. They're relevant in the East. My argument with them is that if I sign Otto Porter, I'm slightly better than I am if I don't have him. I might as well stay where I'm at without him and have the flexibility to go get somebody who can really help Wall and Beal.
I agree. This morning, true or not, small markets are sitting there thinking Indianapolis lost our star. Salt Lake City, beautiful city, lost our star. Oklahoma City a year ago, lost our star. Football fans in the NFL know markets don't matter. Right now in baseball, markets don't generally matter. Same with hockey. Nashville had a remarkable year. Should the NBA be concerned that this morning in America, stars don't want to play in small markets?
I don't think so. I mean, LeBron went back to Cleveland. Now, granted, he's from there, but Westbrook re-signed in Oklahoma City. He's from Los Angeles.
Okay.
So I don't think that's the issue. I mean, Marc Gasol, Mike Conley, they're not superstars, but they've re-signed in Memphis.
Okay.
And so Minnesota, is looking pretty good. I think Karl Anthony Towns and Wiggins will stay there, at least for their first max deal. So I don't think that's the issue. I think the problem, as we've talked about, the Western Conference teams are better managed than the Eastern Conference teams. They've drafted better. They've put together, they're more creative. I mean, like I said, Golden State, San Antonio, Houston, whether they've got cap room or not, they're in the free agent hunt.
Always.
That's because of good management, being creative with the numbers, the players, and things like that. So I don't think the market is an issue in the NBA.
Chris Broussard joining us. I was saying Steph Curry may not be as respected among players as Westbrook, LeBron, KD. But if you want to see his impact, you could shoot a three-pointer 20 years ago in this league. Steph Curry comes in this league now, and Otto Porter, who can suddenly hit a three. J.J. Redick, Joe Ingles, Alan Crabb.
Chandler Parsons.
Okay, this league now, you don't have to be able to jump. You don't have to be strong. You can be injury-prone. If Bradley Beal was on the open market, and I like Bradley Beal, these guys owe a debt of gratitude to Steph Curry. The three-point shot, you could shoot it 25 years ago in this league. Curry has changed the way you even pursue. God, look at the Lakers. Can the big shoot threes?
Yeah.
So if you can't shoot a three, you're almost useless in this league.
He's revolutionized the game to a large degree. There's no question about it. But what I would say to teams, you have to utilize the three. There's no question you have to be able to shoot it. But I would say to these coaches and these teams, play to your strengths. Everybody can't play like Golden State. Memphis, one thing I like about them is they play to their strength. And they're about as good as they should be with the talent that they have. I want to see New Orleans play to its strength. I don't want DeMarcus Cousins and Anthony Davis at the three-point line. Occasionally, fine. But their bread and butter should be closer to the basket because those are the types of players that they are.